My dear Swami Nikhileshwarananda, my dear and honorable Imam Abdul Malik Mujahid ji and all the respected members here on the dais and off the dais, and my very dear spiritual brothers and sisters. Most of you remember I spoke in the morning also. In the morning, I had expressed the view that we should continue our exercise to carry the message of harmony of religions and spiritualizing human life everywhere in our world. Both are a sort of higher education. This making people understand and practice harmony of religion and to introduce the spiritual goal for their life. It is a sort of a higher education. Both are a sort of higher education in human development by which man can know that he is divine, that is, that infinite life, infinite knowledge and infinite bliss are his very nature. In other words, man is not his physical body and senses only, but someone who is behind all this, as the driver is behind the steering wheel of a car. If the car gets old or useless, the driver need not think that he has become old or he has become useless. This is the Vedantic idea of man, the unchanging, immortal, all-powerful and all-blissful being called Atman. Vedanta, namely the Upanishads, speak about realizing this divine self of man as this goal of human life, whether in the East or in the West, whether monks or householders. The disciplines that lead one to this realization of one's own divine nature is what we call as religion. These disciplines are called the yoga in Indian philosophy. They differ, the disciplines differ according to the students or the aspirants' mental aptitude. Men all over the world usually are found to be of working type or loving type or meditative type or rational type. The discipline that would lead an aspirant of working nature is called the discipline of Karma Yoga, the path of selfless work. Similarly, the one for the loving type is Bhakti Yoga, path of devotion to God. One for the meditative type is Raj Yoga, the path of meditation. And the one for a rational type is Jnana Yoga, the path of reasoning. Swami Vivekananda was very clear that these four paths or suitable combinations of them can lead every human being to know his divine nature. That is, he is free from death, he is ever blissful, and that he is all-knowing. This is our very intrinsic nature. This is the perfect man, beyond which there is nothing more to desire. Man becomes fulfilled, as the Upanishad puts it, Tadva asya aptakamam atmakamam akamam rupam shokantaram. That is the state when the individual being feels ever free from misery and fulfilled, desires only the spiritual bliss, or does not want anything of so-called enjoyments either in this earth or in the other world. Here we notice the spiritual ideal placed before man is purely a scientific one, a rational one of longest life, fullest knowledge, and infinite joy. Aren't we only struggling for life, knowledge, and joy to make them as long as possible? We are struggling for long life, fuller knowledge, and joy as much as possible in our lives. These three, extended to their infinite limits, is the goal, the self-realization placed before us by Swami Vivekananda, by the Vedanta. Swami Vivekananda was a preacher of this divinity of man. He, in his famous statement on the goal of human life, wrote in his book Raj Yoga, I quote, "The goal before any human being is to manifest this divinity already within by controlling nature, both external and internal. Do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. All other books, rituals, temples, forms are but secondary details." This realization of the divinity of man made the Swami a prophet of divine humanism. He always thought man not as an assemblage of his body, senses and mind, but a spirit. So the Swami declared, "I call him God, whom the ignorant calls man." He always thought of man as God himself. That's why he declared, "I call him God, whom the ignorant call man." He again said, "May I be born again and again and suffer thousands of miseries to serve the only God that exists, the only God that I believe in, the sum total of all souls. And above all, my God the wicked, my God the miserable, my God the oppressed and suppressed of all races and climes deserve my special worship." It is this heart of a Buddha that has made Swami Vivekananda an icon for all, young and old alike. Before I close, I share with you an interesting incident. An eminent speaker of Swami Vivekananda was lecturing in Calcutta. Calcutta, is one of the biggest cities in India. It was called the second biggest city in the British Empire. So this lecturer was lecturing about Swami Vivekananda and his message. So the lecturer said to the audience, "The teachings of Swami Vivekananda are for the young." Immediately an old man rose up from the audience and asked him, "What is his message for we old people then?" The lecturer said, "Yes, the message is for you also. When you hear the words of Vivekananda, you will instantly become young." It is true, my dear brothers and sisters, it is very, very true. That is how I feel young at this age of 87. Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Vivekananda.